It starts with a whisper no one believes at first. Garrison, standing outside the courthouse with shaking hands, holds a plain white envelope, a DNA report that was never supposed to exist. His jaw tightens. Behind him, cameras flash, voices blur, and the world seems to tilt on its axis. Because what's inside that envelope doesn't just expose a lie. It rewrites everything the Brown family ever believed about blood, loyalty, and motherhood. The paper trembles in his hand. "She's not her mother," Garrison mutters. The reporter nearest to him freezes. Inside the courtroom, Robyn's eyes dart toward Kody, who doesn't move. The air turns thick, almost solid. Janelle whispers, "Oh my God, sometimes one truth doesn't just shatter a family. It detonates it." The bailiff announces, "Court is now in session." Robyn grips the edge of the defense table, her nails biting into the wood. Across the aisle, Christine and Janelle sit together, both silent, both pale. This isn't about money anymore. This is about something sacred, something stolen. Garrison had ordered the DNA test quietly weeks before, after a dispute over his late brother's inheritance. But what was supposed to be a simple verification turned into a nightmare. The results said Ariella, Robyn and Kody's youngest daughter, had zero biological relation to Robyn Brown. None. Not even distant. The judge adjusts his glasses, looking uneasy. "Mr. Brown," he says to Garrison, "you understand the gravity of what you're alleging?" "I'm not alleging anything, Your Honor," Garrison replies, voice trembling but steady. "I'm showing proof." And in that moment, the air inside the courtroom feels like it could ignite. Flashbulbs flicker outside. The story's already spreading. DNA shock in Brown family case. Kody's face hardens into something cold and unfamiliar. Robyn whispers something to him under her breath, but he doesn't answer. The judge raises a hand. "Before we proceed with any further discussion, this court will require a retest to verify these results. The child in question will not be discussed by name for her privacy." Robyn's attorney stands abruptly. "Your Honor, this is slander. These so-called results were obtained without chain of custody. We don't even know if the samples were legitimate." Garrison turns toward her. "They were taken from Ariella's brush. You can check the chain. I paid for professional forensic testing." The gallery gasps. Robyn buries her face in her hands, shaking. The courtroom becomes a storm of murmurs and whispers. The truth doesn't whisper forever. Eventually, it screams. Later that night, outside the courthouse, Janelle finds Garrison sitting in his car, engine off, eyes blank. She places a hand on his shoulder. "You shouldn't have done it like this," she says softly. "I couldn't let it go," he mutters. Something felt off. The dates, the paperwork, everything about Ariella's birth was different. "What do you mean?" Garrison glances at her. "Her hospital records. I looked them up before the test. The birth certificate was filed 2 days late. And the attending nurse? She doesn't exist in any registry." Janelle pulls back, her face paling. "You checked?" "I hired someone," Garrison admits. "An investigator. She found a record. Another woman gave birth in the same hospital, same night, 1 room away. Her name was Kara Thompson." Janelle's breath catches. "Her baby vanished that night," he says quietly. "No discharge papers, no record of the baby ever leaving." Sometimes the lie isn't hidden. It's buried under paperwork and silence. Meanwhile, Robyn sits in her dark living room, curtains drawn. Her breathing is heavy, uneven. Kody paces in the background, furious. "You said this would never come up again." He hisses. Robyn's voice cracks. "I didn't know he'd find the records. I didn't even think he knew where to look." Kody stops pacing and slams his hand on the table. "You told me the nurse destroyed everything." "I thought she did," Robyn shouts, then lowers her voice when she sees Ariella's stuffed bear lying on the couch. "Don't say her name right now." "Please?" Kody looks toward the window, eyes flickering with something darker than fear. "They can't prove anything. It's your word against theirs." Robyn wipes her eyes, trembling. "Kody, what if Kara comes back?" He turns sharply. "She won't. She signed that paper. We paid—" He stops mid-sentence. Robyn stares at him in horror. "You said that money was for the hospital." He doesn't respond. The phone rings. Robyn jumps. It's her lawyer. "You both need to come in tomorrow," the voice says. The judge ordered the retest immediately. "They've subpoenaed the hospital for records." Kody's jaw tightens. "Fine, we'll handle it." He hangs up and mutters, "If they get those files, we're done." Secrets always sound quieter at night, right before they explode. The next morning, the courthouse is packed. Reporters swarm the steps. Inside, the tension feels like static. The judge speaks calmly. Due to irregularities in prior documents, the court has requested full medical verification and DNA retesting. The bailiff steps forward with sealed sample kits. A nurse from the lab swabs both Robyn and Ariella as cameras roll from a distance. Robyn tries to smile, but her hands tremble. She looks at Kody, who refuses to meet her eyes. Christine, seated in the gallery, leans toward Janelle. Do you think she knew? Janelle shakes her head slowly. I think she knows now. 2 days later, news spreads that the retest results have arrived, but they're sealed under court order. Only the judge has access. Outside, Kara Thompson stands on the courthouse steps, clutching a small photograph. It's faded, edges torn. It shows a newborn baby wrapped in a pink blanket. She whispers, I know her eyes anywhere. Behind her, a detective from the Attorney General's office takes her statement. You're saying you were never given your baby? He asks. Kara nods. They told me she didn't make it. But I never saw a death certificate. And then I saw a photo online. That little girl. She looks just like me when I was her age. The detective looks down at the file, lips tightening. We'll reopen the hospital records. No one touches them without authorization. Back in Flagstaff, Robyn wakes up to pounding on her door. It's the sheriff, serving her with notice of a pending investigation. Kody steps out behind her, face pale. This is harassment, he says sharply. The deputy hands him a copy of the order. Court subpoena for all hospital communications and security footage from the night of the birth. You might want to talk to your lawyer. The door slams shut. Robyn collapses against it, sobbing. Kody stares at the paper, silent. The more they try to bury the past, the louder it claws its way back. Back at the courthouse, Garrison stands waiting outside the judge's chambers. His fingers drum against the bench. When the door opens, the judge looks grim. Mr. Brown, he says quietly, the court will not release these results publicly yet, but you should prepare yourself. Things may get very complicated. What do you mean? Garrison asks. The judge hesitates. Let's just say it's not over. At that moment, Robyn and Kody appear down the hallway. Robyn's eyes are red from crying. Kody's face is white as chalk. When the judge returns to chambers, Garrison watches Kody suddenly turn to his lawyer, whisper something urgent, then walk briskly toward the exit. Janelle calls out, Kody, where are you going? He doesn't answer. The courthouse doors swing open. Cameras flash. Reporters shout his name, but Kody Brown keeps walking. The judge's clerk emerges seconds later, holding a sealed manila envelope stamped confidential DNA evidence. The courtroom gasps as she locks it in the evidence drawer. Garrison's eyes follow the door Kody just walked through, his chest tightening. Something inside him knows. This isn't the end. It's the beginning, because when a man runs from the truth, it's because he already knows what's coming. The hallway outside the courtroom still buzzes with tension. Reporters whisper, cameras lower. Garrison stands motionless, eyes locked on the door Kody disappeared through. Behind him, Janelle's voice trembles. He ran. That's not something innocent men do. Christine's lips press into a hard line. Unless he knows what the DNA says, and it's everything we feared. When people flee the truth, it's because they already know how guilty it sounds when spoken aloud. Meanwhile, Robyn sits alone in the courtroom, her shoulders hunched forward. Her face is pale, almost colorless. Her hands fumble with a tissue that's already shredded between her fingers. Her attorney crouches beside her, whispering fast and low. He left me, Robyn whispers. He's just overwhelmed, the attorney tries. No, Robyn says, blinking slowly. Kody's not coming back. Outside, in a quiet SUV with tinted windows, Kody presses a phone to his ear. His voice is low but sharp. You told me that file was destroyed. You promised me the birth records were gone. A man's voice replies on the other end. I said I'd take care of it. But apparently the nurse kept a copy. What nurse? Kody snaps. The line goes dead. At that same moment, in a small house 30 miles away, a woman named Lena Moreau watches the news on her old television set. Her hands shake. She hasn't spoken to anyone from that hospital in over a decade. But the little girl on screen, the one they call Ariella, makes her heart stop. Because Lena was there that night. She was the nurse who logged Kara Thompson's baby into the system, and then watched the chart vanish by morning. She opens a drawer and pulls out a box. Inside is a folded set of documents and a flash drive labeled Room 7C, July 3rd, 2012. Sometimes the people you least expect hold the evidence everyone else tried to erase. Back in court, The judge meets privately with both legal teams. The envelope remains sealed. No one, not even Garrison, is allowed to see the contents, not until proper guardianship questions are addressed. Robyn's attorney pleads for the judge to issue a gag order. Garrison's attorney interrupts. Your Honor, this isn't about reputation, it's about identity fraud. That child has legal standing. If she was stolen, we are no longer in civil court. We're bordering on federal territory. The judge pauses. I'm aware. Christine watches from the gallery, hands tightly clasped. Robyn's unraveling, she whispers to Janelle. I've never seen her like this. She's not unraveling, Janelle replies. She's afraid. Later that night, Robyn locks herself in her bedroom. She plays a video on her phone. It's Ariella, age 5, laughing in a backyard sprinkler. Her laughter rings out like bells, innocent and pure. Robyn clutches the phone to her chest, her voice a whisper. You're mine. You'll always be mine. But her hands won't stop shaking. She scrolls through her contacts and stops at one name. Kara T. The number is no longer in service. You can't rewrite history, but you can try to silence those who remember it. The next morning, headlines explode. Nurse from 2012 birth mystery vanishes before court date. Lena Moreau, the woman who had just unearthed the flash drive, is missing. Her car is found on a rural road, doors unlocked, engine off. No signs of struggle, just a pack of cigarettes and a half-empty coffee cup. The police issue a bolo. Christine sees the footage and murmurs, she was the one. She was going to tell the truth. Garrison punches the steering wheel when he hears. They're making people disappear now? Janelle tries to steady him. No, but someone didn't want her talking. And now the only proof is gone. But it's not, because Lena's neighbor, an elderly man named Russell, noticed something strange that morning. A courier truck, unmarked, stopped by Lena's mailbox. Hours before the news of her disappearance, Russell swears he saw her drop a padded envelope inside. That afternoon, a clerk at the courthouse mailroom receives a package addressed to Judge Henry Callister. Confidential. Room 7C, July 3rd, footage. The judge opens the envelope himself, draws out a flash drive, and plugs it into his laptop. He watches for 15 minutes. His expression doesn't change. Then he presses a button and calls for an emergency in-chambers meeting. When truth finally shows up, it doesn't knock. It kicks the door down. In the footage, a newborn is wheeled into the wrong room. Room 7C was Robyn's, scheduled for C-section. The baby, however, was logged under Kara Thompson's chart. Lena's voice is heard faintly saying, "This isn't right. Why is this baby under a different name?" A figure in scrubs mutters, "It's a direct order. Do you want to lose your job?" The camera angle shifts. A woman signs a form. It's Robyn. The judge closes his laptop slowly, eyes darkening. He reaches for his phone. By evening, Robyn receives a new notice. You are ordered to appear in court within 48 hours. Emergency guardianship hearing scheduled, she screams. Kody is still missing. Her kids huddle in the next room. She throws her phone across the wall. It shatters. Christine watches the breakdown unfold from her phone's hidden camera footage, sent by a relative who still lives close to Robyn. She's falling apart, Christine says softly. And I don't feel bad this time. Janelle's voice cracks. I just want Ariella to know who her mother really is. At Kara Thompson's apartment, the doorbell rings. She opens it to find a young woman with blonde hair and teary eyes. I'm with the Attorney General's office, the woman says. We need you to testify, and we think it's time you meet your daughter. Kara nearly faints. The moment of truth doesn't knock. It walks in with a badge and a file. The night before the emergency hearing, Garrison can't sleep. He stands outside under the stars, clutching the retest notice in his hand. Janelle joins him, arms wrapped in a shawl. You did this, she whispers. I didn't mean to destroy her, he says. You didn't destroy her, Janelle replies. She did that the moment she chose to lie about a child. Garrison looks up at the stars. What if Ariella hates me after this? She won't, Janelle says gently. She'll thank you one day for setting her free. The next morning, as they arrive at court, Robyn is escorted in with her lawyers, visibly distressed. Cameras flash. Reporters scream her name. She doesn't answer. She looks empty. In the gallery, Kara walks in quietly. All eyes turn. Ariella isn't present. The court has ordered her kept out for her protection. When Kara takes the stand, the courtroom holds its breath. She holds up a faded birth. Bracelet with the initials KTB07. The same number listed in the hospital logs from July 3rd, 2012. My. Baby girl vanished that night, Kara says, voice cracking. They told me she died, but I never saw a body. Never saw a grave. The room goes silent. Christine squeezes Garrison's hand. Robyn begins to hyperventilate. Then the judge speaks. I have reviewed the submitted footage, medical records, and prior testimony. Pending review of all official documentation, this court is placing a temporary suspension on legal guardianship assigned to Robyn Sullivan Brown. The courtroom explodes in murmurs. Robyn lets out a low, broken sound. Kara begins to sob quietly. Kody is nowhere in sight. But Garrison, standing tall, fists clenched, just watches the judge with steady eyes. The truth has arrived. But the question is, who's going to survive it? The courtroom is still buzzing when the judge slams the gavel, demanding order. This is not a media circus, he declares. We're dealing with the legal identity of a minor child. This court takes no joy in these proceedings. But the damage is done. Robyn sits frozen, lips parted, mascara streaking down her face. Her chest rises and falls in sharp, shallow gasps. Her lawyer leans in, whispering, but Robyn doesn't respond. Her eyes are locked on Kara, as if staring at a ghost. Kara clutches the hospital bracelet, her hands trembling. She doesn't meet Robyn's gaze, not out of fear, but because she's already spent 12 years mourning a daughter the world told her never existed. Some truths don't just burn bridges. They burn entire identities to the ground, Christine whispers to Janelle. She knows she's lost her. Janelle nods slowly. But she's still going to fight. That's what makes her dangerous. Suddenly, the courtroom doors swing open. Kody Brown enters. Gasps ripple through the gallery. He walks quickly, his suit wrinkled, tie crooked. His face is gaunt, sleepless, and grim. Without looking at anyone, he takes his seat beside Robyn. Robyn reaches for him. But Kody doesn't take her hand. Instead, he adjusts his chair and looks at the judge. Apologies for my absence? Your Honor, he says, voice low but firm. The judge gives a curt nod. You'll be brought up to speed. But know this. Guardianship has been temporarily suspended. Pending review of hospital records and witness testimony. Kody swallows hard. His eyes flick briefly toward Kara, then away. When a man walks back into a room like that, you know he's already heard the worst. After recess, the judge reconvenes court for a new motion. Christine's attorney has filed a petition for emergency protective status, backed by a sworn affidavit from a former TLC producer. The court quiets immediately. Christine's lawyer clears his throat. Your Honor, the affidavit states that over a decade ago, Robyn Sullivan Brown disclosed privately to network staff that her new baby wasn't legally hers, but would be better off this way. Robyn jerks upright in her chair. That's a lie, she screams. The courtroom explodes. The judge bangs the gavel again, demanding silence. Robyn sobs into her hands. Kody stares straight ahead, unmoving. Christine leans toward Garrison. That producer, she whispers. Her name's Leslie. She left the show in 2014 and went radio silent. I thought it was just burnout. It wasn't, Garrison murmurs. She knew. Sometimes silence is more dangerous than the scream. Back in chambers, the judge reviews the affidavit, visibly disturbed. He motions for the court reporter to read it aloud for the record. She said, quote, Kody was scared at first, but Robyn assured him no one would check. It would be listed as a stillbirth. She kept saying, we're saving her. We're giving her a real life. Kara starts crying quietly. Janelle exhales sharply. They lied to her, and then erased her. Garrison slams his fist softly against the bench. How did they get away with this for so long? The judge clears his throat. We will now hear from the representative of the Arizona Department of Vital Records. A middle-aged woman in a gray suit steps forward. She's holding a folder and looks visibly shaken. The original hospital submission was altered electronically 3 days after the listed birth, she says. Someone with admin access changed the mother's name from Kara Thompson to Robyn Sullivan. There is no legal amendment form on file. And the nurse ID attached to the update was fake. A hush falls over the room. Kody leans forward slowly. I didn't touch that form. The judge looks directly at him. Then who did, Mr. Brown? In a courtroom full of noise, the loudest sound is a man refusing to answer. Robyn suddenly stands. Her voice cracks. It was me. I did it. I thought it was the right thing. She was so small, so abandoned, and we had the room and the love. Kody didn't want to, but I did. Kara's eyes fill with tears. You stole her, she says in a broken whisper. Robyn turns toward her. You didn't want her. They told me you were giving her up. That's a lie, Kara shouts, rising to her feet. I held her. I named her. I signed the discharge, and then they told me she was gone. Gone. Garrison pulls her back gently. The judge pauses, then announces, "This hearing is now in recess. When we return, the court will issue a temporary ruling regarding physical custody." Everyone exhales, but the tension still hangs in the air like fog. In the hallway, Robyn collapses onto a bench. Her mascara is ruined, her lipstick smeared. Kody crouches in front of her. "I told you this day would come," he says coldly. "But you lied to me too." "No," she whispers. "You just didn't want to know." Kody stares at her, eyes empty. "Then we deserve what's coming. Denial doesn't protect you from the storm. It just makes the lightning hit harder." Back in the courtroom, an officer approaches Kara. "Ma'am," he says gently, "there's a child advocate present. They'd like to ask if you're willing to meet, in private." "With Ariella," Kara's voice cracks. "Yes, please." She's escorted into a side room with soft lighting, a small couch, and one large mirror. She waits silently. Heart pounding, the door opens, and in walks Ariella, guarded, nervous, holding a stuffed animal. The two lock eyes. Neither speaks at first, then Ariella, soft-voiced, says, "You're the woman from my dream." Kara breaks into silent tears. "I think I've been dreaming about you too." In the other room, Christine watches through a monitor with Garrison and Janelle. None of them speaks, because there are no words for what's happening, no script, no spin, just the truth, and it's finally staring itself in the mirror. Sometimes reunion doesn't feel like healing. It feels like waking up from a 12-year coma. Back in open court, the judge returns. This court grants temporary physical custody of Ariella Brown to her biological mother, Kara Thompson, under strict supervision and child advocacy monitoring. "A full hearing will be scheduled in 30 days, Robyn screams. Loud, piercing, raw. "No. You can't take her from me." The bailiff steps forward as she stumbles to her feet. Her cries echo across the wood-paneled courtroom. Kody doesn't move. Not an inch. As Robyn is escorted out, wailing, Kara holds the teddy bear close, tears still flowing. Garrison closes his eyes. The truth has been spoken, but the battle has just begun, and in the fight for one child's future. Everyone's past is about to go on trial. Robyn doesn't sleep that night. She paces in circles across her living room floor, barefoot, hair unbrushed, still wearing the same blouse from court. The lights stay off. Her phone buzzes on the counter, texts from unknown numbers. Some mocking, some threatening, some pitying. She doesn't reply to any of them. On the couch, a thin manila folder sits unopened. It was slipped under her door less than an hour after she was escorted from court. The sender is anonymous. The contents are not. Inside are sealed mental health records from 2012. A single sticky note is attached. They know, and they're coming. When the walls close in, even your memories start to feel like evidence. Meanwhile, at the courthouse, Garrison meets privately with Kara and her attorney. "She's not safe yet," Garrison says. "I can feel it." "Robyn's not going to go quietly?" Kara, still clutching the teddy bear Ariella gave her after their meeting, nods. "She didn't cry. When I held her, she just stared at me, like she was trying to remember something." Janelle sits quietly in the corner, listening, then finally speaks. Ariella may not understand it all yet, but she will. And when she does, she's going to need strong people around her. Kara whispers, "I'm scared." Garrison looks her dead in the eyes. So is Robyn, and fear makes people dangerous, especially when they're losing. The next morning, the judge receives a confidential envelope from the hospital's former legal counsel. Inside is a letter, handwritten, dated 7 years earlier, from Lena Moreau, the missing nurse. The letter was part of a sealed malpractice claim that was quietly buried by hospital administrators. But the truth found its way out. The letter reads, "I falsified the discharge forms under instruction from Dr. Howell and the floor supervisor. I knew it was wrong. I knew the baby wasn't Robyn Brown's, but they said Kara had given up parental rights. I didn't see any papers. I never saw a body. I was told to keep my mouth shut if I wanted to keep my license. But I saw the way she cried for that baby, and I've never forgotten her face. Some lies don't fade with time. They get darker with every year they're buried." The judge calls an emergency hearing. This time, Kody is subpoenaed directly, not just as a witness, but as a potential co-conspirator. He shows up late. His face is hard, defensive. But underneath, he looks older, weaker. Christine watches him from across the room with narrowed eyes. This is the man who built an empire on controlling everyone, she says. Now he can't even control his own story. When called to the stand, Kody doesn't sit comfortably. His lawyer advises him to plead the fifth on any criminal implication. But the judge insists on clarity. Mr. Brown? He asks. Were you aware that the child known as Ariella Brown was not biologically Robyn Brown's? Kody hesitates. Looks down. Then up, I suspected, he finally says. But I didn't want to know for sure. Robyn said she'd adopted her unofficially, that the mother was gone. Christine gasps. Unofficially? She repeats aloud. Garrison clenches his fists. The judge leans forward. Mr. Brown, did you sign any falsified documents? Kody replies, no, but I let her use my name on one of the intake forms. There it is. A stunned silence. The courtroom doesn't explode. It sinks into a silence so heavy it feels like grief. Robyn is called next. She doesn't speak. Doesn't look at anyone. Her attorney steps up and informs the judge. My client invokes her right to silence pending possible criminal investigation. The judge nods, but then Kara's lawyer steps forward. Your Honor, if I may, we have obtained records from Dr. Howell's former administrative assistant, along with therapy intake forms from Flagstaff Counseling dated 2012. He hands over a file as the judge opens it. Inside are notes from Robyn's first counseling session after the birth. She told the therapist, I had to take her. I couldn't let her go. I knew I was supposed to hand her back. But Kody said he didn't want more court stuff. I made the paperwork disappear. Christine covers her mouth. Janelle closes her eyes. Garrison looks down at the table, jaw trembling. And Kara starts sobbing uncontrollably, not out of shock, but out of relief, because someone finally wrote it down. Someone finally saw her, the truth. Doesn't just hurt. Sometimes it heals. The judge takes a deep breath. Court will recess. Full investigation into criminal activity will proceed. Custody remains with Kara Thompson under state supervision. As people begin filing out, Kody slumps in his chair. Robyn stares ahead, silent. Then something unexpected happens. Christine steps forward. I'd like to make a statement. The judge allows it. Christine looks directly at Robyn. You took my son's sister. You took another woman's baby and made her part of your fairy tale. But there's nothing magical about what you did. You lied, you stole, and you raised a child in the shadow of a crime. Robyn doesn't respond, but her lip quivers. Kara stands beside Christine. And I want to speak too. She turns to the court. I forgive her, she says. I don't forget, but I forgive. Because hate won't help Ariella now. Forgiveness isn't for the guilty. It's for the ones who need to move forward. That evening, news of the hearing breaks across national media. Sister-wives scandal explodes. DNA confirms. Baby swap. Criminal investigation begins. TLC suspends all filming immediately. In their public statement, they say, we are heartbroken by recent developments. The safety and truth surrounding the children of this family must come first. But behind closed doors, Christine receives a message from an anonymous producer. You're not done. There's more. Check the old Vegas vault footage. The next day, Garrison receives a private package in the mail. Inside is a USB. A sticky note on top says, Kody said this would never see the light of day. He plugs it in. The screen flickers. Kody and Robyn are on camera in a hotel room. Robyn is crying, and Kody says, she'll never know. We're saving her. That girl doesn't belong with that mess of a mother. We can rewrite everything. The footage ends. Garrison leans back, stunned, and that's when he knows. The court case isn't over. Garrison doesn't speak for nearly an hour after watching the USB footage. He just stares at the laptop screen, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. His hands are shaking, but not from fear, from rage. He replays it. Kody's voice flat, certain. We're saving her. That girl doesn't belong with that mess of a mother. We can rewrite everything. And Robyn's sobbing reply, but what if someone finds out? Kody's answer, then we bury it deeper. Garrison shuts the laptop. For years, he questioned why he always felt like something was off. Why Robyn treated Ariella like porcelain. Too carefully. Too rehearsed. Why his father had a dead look in his eyes every time the subject of her birth came up. Now he knew. The family wasn't built on faith or love. It was built on forged paperwork and stolen blood. The next morning, Christine and Janelle arrive at his home. He doesn't greet them. He just sets the laptop on the counter and presses play. By the end, Janelle's eyes are wet. Christine's face is stone. "Send it," Christine says.